Hello everyone, this is Greyshot17.
And greyshot151 here.
Alright, and today we are going over episode 3 of Halo the series. We both are Halo nerds if you're new here, and we like to go in depth with the episode, gives our ups and downs, and then also relate it to the lore of Halo in some capacity. Since again, we played the games, read the books, checked out the media, and I feel like actually this episode has a good assortment from all sorts of weirdly good and bad stuff, which we'll get to.
You got one protocol in here.
Yeah, I mean, okay. I'm glad. Look, the one thing I'll say about the show is you cannot deny it is pulling from the Halo lore in terms of like the Cole Protocol, in terms of the planets. Every planet named in this show, unless I'm mistaken, every planet named in this show is related to a planet. Like we learn Master Chief's planet in the series. A Manus 2 or a Manny 2 or more, but yeah, no, it's the reason I bring that up is just because Iridianus 2. I butcher the name of these planets, but point is that is his actual homeworld. Now it was glassed in 2030 in the books, but yes, in the show that's his actual homeworld, so they did nail it.
Looking over here, it does say that one note I do have down is that they make it Madrigal is like one of the last outer colony planets. Like it's like we must all come together now. So
did they actually say that in this episode?
Yeah, it was in the press conference. They make the guys like, I stress for peace. We must all join together now in this dark time. And it's like,
all right, if we're going by,
the biggest critique I will say about the show is it loves to tell me all this lore, but it doesn't want to show me any of it. You know?
Yeah.
And that's my biggest problem. There was actually a lot I liked about this episode. Primarily, the moment Cortana came in, it was like someone like got a shot. It's like, the whole show took a deep breath, and it was like, wow, this is actually kind of interesting because the rest of it wasn't.
Yeah. So my thing about this show is I would love, and I know this sounds dumb, but Game of Thrones did this. So before anyone says stop, I'm a map guy. Literally draw like a map or have a map that what was human space, what is human space, what is UNSC space in there, and what is insurrectionist space. That's all you need to do. Like
that would be a competent storyteller.
A 15-second image to show what the fuck we're looking at, because I have no idea. And before someone says, well, Halo didn't do that. Halo, the first game was just that was Halo.
Yeah.
The second game, Earth's the only one left. That's the only one that matters. Reach fell, everything else is dead. Earth is what matters. You don't need anything else. And they do give insight into the through just like location data. For example, the Ark, you know where it is because you can see our galaxy. So you don't need to know where in our galaxy we are.
Literally
because we
the
know
center
we're
of the
out.
galaxy, if I'm not mistaken. So
no. The Ark is.
Oh no, it's outside our galaxy.
Yeah, because you can see our. So it's like, in the games, it doesn't make sense. Here, I don't know what the fuck is happening in this war. I don't know where we're at. Because, again, by what you're saying, we're later in the war. But what's her name? The girl that's working with the Covenant. Shoot. I'm so... All right, the priestess, she... Charlie Murphy's character, Maki, that's her name. All right, so what is with Maki? Is her name?
She controls basically. She uses what they did in a
Halo Nightfall.
Halo Nightfall, yeah, with the all the Ungoi, or not the Ungoi, the hunter worms. Basically coming out and attacking, which was cool. Neat sequence. The Cole Protocol was used then. Good. Why they didn't immediately just seal that area off, or like kind of like, I wish there was like the UNSC had like done another check, you know? It kind of felt like, hey, we did a thing, but we didn't really think that far out.
Yeah,
like,
I immediately with their story, I'm like, so you're telling me in slip space they got into pods and left. I don't think that's a good idea.
I would press doubt hard if the UNSC is that stupid and be like, we fell for it. Oh no! And then there was like another.
Yeah. Man, the Covenant all left their vessel. Right. No, yeah, it's like people being dumb. Like, the sequence is cool, and I do like, again, the code protocol, they got rid of the information, that's fine. But again, it's like, if the information's gone, is this the first ship the Covenant has ever tried to board and take the information from?
This was different where they had an actual human on board. I doubt anyone has ever seen this. I will give them this. It's like, it's one ship by itself. There's humans on board. They can detect. There's no like alien activity. This was raising so many red flags, which again, you would assume more would have been done. I understand why they didn't do more because it was such a out of the box. If this was in the actual Halo universe, I think they would have like had a secondary like thing like, oh, we caught you, and then I would have expected the human to outplay them.
Yeah,
and it would have been like that would have felt more satisfying. Here,
you would have you would have had that place locked down, so if it was a trap, it's contained. Yeah. Right?
And then I would have expected, oh, I have a Covenant AI, which is basic, but maybe it was like, that's why she targeted this ship, is because this ship doesn't have, smart AI, it had dumb AI, or maybe or no AI, and they were like, okay, we can get around it.
Now, I will say this, they had a lot of shots of Marines, and again, the captain of the ship, like, visually... Yeah. This looked good. Like, I liked all the uniforms. I liked the outfits, and everything looked the part. I will say that. Whoever is working to try to recreate this in terms of the games, that part of the show I cannot deny is good. Like, but I don't care for the music. The music sounds like rip-off Blade Runner to me.
I didn't even notice the music. I honestly, it just kind of goes in one ear and out the other.
Yeah. There's a corgi in the background if you're wondering what the squeaking is.
I'll go take care of her.
No worries. But yeah, so just to kind of continue with this show and what we saw, because we have 3 plot lines essentially. We have Maki's story where she takes over a ship, realizes there's no information on it because of the Cole Protocol, which, for those who don't know, the Cole Protocol is a specific thing, which, again, is
done by Admiral Cole. It's something to ensure that planets don't get glassed, something we still haven't seen in the show.
Yeah, or find Earth. Or find any of the major stuff.
It's like, make sure that's the major thing, because once the outer colonies were kind of easy for the Covenant to get, because they knew, like, once they found Harvest and once they were like, they spotted a few planets, they're like, okay, humanity's like in this general area, we can go. The inner colonies were really were more difficult at a certain point, and they only got reach because they had a tracker. Like, it was very difficult for them in the later stage of the war to actually find human planets to glass. Yes. But regardless, yeah, I did like that little nod. Again, she didn't really get any information, which is understandable. Yeah. Right? She didn't get anything?
No, she didn't get it. They're now going to Madrigal. So the Covenant is going to Madrigal, which I hope this means that they're like, maybe we should have, dealt with this planet or something, because there's literally nothing stopping us from glassing it, in my perspective. And again, we also had a second plot line, and I'll cover this one. We had the, was it Salen? Oh, God. I'm so sorry. It's 06...
098.
Soren. We had 066 Soren deal with the girl.
I thought you were talking about the dead one. Okay.
No. 098 died, right?
Yeah, she died on... That's how, like, Chief has her epiphany.
Yeah. So, yeah. So, this one's the shortest plot line of I think, in this episode. And this essentially is the girl being like, I should go to Madrigal. And the guy's like, fine, I'll take you to Madrigal. It's like, I'll pay you in the very specifically and very rich resources there. And the guy's like, all right, fine. Yeah, if you don't pay me, then I'll just turn you into the bounty. So that's pretty much all we got. We got like a quick scene with the wife and her talking about like, chasing like,
honestly, least interesting part of the whole show.
I don't care.
I don't care about this. It's like, I need to go fight. It's like, okay.
I feel like
the moment it gets glassed, I really hope that, it really pains your soul, because like once the Covenant find a planet, it's dead. It's gone. Yeah. There's no hope. Yeah. It's just gonna get glassed. And the problem with this show is that they're not showing that. Like they're saying it's the end, like we're desperate, all this stuff, but they don't show us what the consequences are for bad things happening. They just say bad things are gonna happen without bringing stuff up. And it's just kind of growing a bit annoying at the moment.
Like, we've had
budget, I get it, but still.
Yeah. Well, again, they had the sequence in the beginning where the Covenant find the girl. Which, by the way, if they find her as like what she has to be pretty young, right? I would say single digits. They've at least held her for, I would say, 15 years, right?
Yeah, I mean, she's got to be, if 25, what was it, 25 is when it started. So 27 years is the length of the war. I mean, that's if they got her at the very beginning. She looks like she's in her early, like, 30s or something, so.
Yeah. So, just for reference, Charlie Murphy.
She's 33 years old. I nailed it! Okay.
All right, so she's 33. So if we're giving an estimate, that's what, at least 20 years? So are we specifically saying this war has been going on for 20 years and there's still insurrectionist colonies around?
Yes.
The Covenant dealt with them so quickly because, again, lack of defense. There are very few that were properly defended, and a couple ships were easily able to outnumber them. Actually, Halo Wars is a great example where even though it was a couple UNSC ships, one Covenant ship of a decent, firepower broke right through and just did not care.
Well, it was... You're talking... Wait, which attack? Did you say Reach or Earth?
I'm talking about Halo Wars, the second ship they land on. The name is escaping me, but it's the second planet that they go to, where they find the artifact that leads them to the Shield World. Yeah.
Crud, I can't think of that name.
Yeah, but you had, again, 4 UNSC ships versus 1 Covenant ship, and the Covenant just blasted through. That's what I'm saying. It's like, again, I have no idea what we're still talking about, because it seems like they're... Arcadia, that's the name. But yeah, no, isn't that the city? Or no, it's Arcadia City, isn't it?
Yeah, Arcadia City, because I hate that one mission was a freaking nightmare.
But also, if we're going over other planets, so in the beginning, that world that the Mackie is like... By the way, the literally 2 elites just walk around, not getting shot at or anything. They're just... I want to know why the humans aren't dealing with...
By the way, no defenses, no planetary... It's like that... There... No way.
Yeah. It's like, even if they're insurrectionists, they'll be like, oh, we're just going to let the ship pop in and just let the Covenant abduct our people? Really? Like, no. Even the insurrectionists were like, we got to deal with this. Which, anyway.
No.
The point is, I guess, child labor. Mackie's abducted, but the elites are essentially, like, searching. There's a funny quote. It's like, it's behind the creature. But they're holding, essentially, this big staff with a big thing at the end, and they're just, like, using it as a metal detector, almost.
Guys, it's behind this thing, right? And they're just like,
So, whoever made that, I hate, because it literally looks like a Forerunner metal detector. And I hate the idea that they're searching the galaxy with a fucking metal detector. Oh, God. But again...
That is part of the lore. The metal detector that leads them to the... No, I'm just kidding.
It is an actual thing. The, what's it called? The Forerunner Luminary is the thing that they would search for very specific items.
Well, that's how they found humanity. If I'm not mistaken. If this is what I think it is, right? If this is what I'm thinking it is, then what the Covenant used that for was to find any human. You didn't need to be special to access Forerunner tech. All you had to do is be human. Yeah. And you could... That's why in, like, Halo Wars, they just have, the scientist. What's her name? But they just get the random scientist just to activate the Forerunner. And, Forerunner tech. They do that... They use it with Sergeant Johnson. And it's just random humanity. You don't have to be special for it.
Yeah. But one other thing I do want to bring up is I feel like we're missing, like, the biggest part of this episode, because we keep going around, but there's not really much with the whole insurrectionist plotline. And again, it seems like Soren is going to be more into that, which is fine. At least gives him something to do. And I like the actor and I like the character at the very least, so that's something good. The main plotline was with Master Chief and Cortana. We get the birth and the introduction of Cortana and Chief.
We also get the introduction of Master Chief's ass. That is a very important introduction in this episode.
Yeah. By the way, the actor, once again, I know a lot of people probably are disliking the actor based on the fact you can see his face, but again, I think the actor is doing a very good job with like the
actor's doing a good job for what he's given. I can't blame the actor in the slightest for what he's been doing.
He's built. Yeah. So again, good on him. He physically and like everything he needs to bring to the role, he's bringing it, which is a lot more than I could say about other roles about things I like about. So I
like everything else you enjoy is just
Halsey's pretty
terrible.
good. I like her manipulation.
Oh yeah, absolutely, especially with the clone.
Yeah,
she like it.
Yep.
You can tell this is someone that's like, yeah.
I've manipulated a lot of clones.
I've done a lot of stuff in my time. Yeah, you know, but I enjoyed her in that aspect, and I liked the whole sequence. I wish was in like an actual surgery room. Like seriously, you're messing with people's like heads and stuff. Like I remember it was Halo Evolutions, even like basic surgery. You're still going into like a med bay. Like they did not wipe down those surfaces. He could have got a brain infection very easily. It's
so beyond now I thought the weirdest thing was going to be the hunters, the Lekgolos, whatever they the worm essentially. I thought that was going to be the weirdest thing, and I did like the little head on the worm. That was actually pretty funny. Kind of reminded me of a graboid's tentacle a little bit, but I like how they were all working together. But that's not the creepiest thing. The creepiest thing is Halsey's assistant doing like a stalker-ish like smell and almost kiss of the clone.
Oh yeah, that was just weird. That was why? Yeah, no, that which people make note of like, oh, you know, it's they just like, I don't know. They just like certain portrayals. I'm just like, I just dislike this actor. I don't understand like why they had to incorporate that. Maybe it'll pay off. Maybe when they're glassing Reach, he'll sacrifice himself for Halsey because he secretly has a crush on her.
Yeah.
I don't know, but it's just very strange.
It's weird because I'm assuming Halsey is controlling him through like flirtation.
That's why but it's still very weird.
It's still fucking weird to add this in this show.
Especially since the Spartans consider her like their mom. It's like you're trying... Are you really trying to get with the mom of the Spartans?
Yeah.
Is that really? It's like the guy that like finds out Bruce Wayne is Batman in The Dark Knight. It's like, you have found a man that wants to beat the life out of criminals, and you want to blackmail this individual. It's like,
can I?
That's not going to end well.
Yeah. Can I be honest with you about something? Also, it's been weird. Is we got a little more time with the other Spartans, and I like how they're going through like mental and physical tests, and they're more like game-like, so it keeps them focused and all that stuff. But the problem with that I find, and I know I'm like, oh, another problem. It's like, no, we get a little bit of dialogue, which is good. I like the fact that they're actually interacting with Chief. It's great. But then immediately we have to stop that because Chief is, after he goes through more flashbacks through touching the former device, he then like takes something out of his spine which stops his emotions, which again I'm like,
inhibitor.
I find it so dumb, the fact that you could easily take this out with just a quick knife and a quick maneuver around your spine. But anyway,
I mean, Spartans have to be precise. You know, they again, this show is still bad. This is stupid. But
then immediately a Spartan looks over and it's like, oh my god.
If Chief did that in the actual books, or if Chief did that, he would just have a Spartan do it because he trusts the Spartans. He doesn't hold anything back from them.
Why? I don't understand that Chief is supposed to be the best, brightest, and leader, and he's not assisting his comrades. And I know you're like, well, Greyshot in the Halo series in 1 through 3, he was the lone wolf. Not on purpose. He was a lone wolf because of the fact the rest of Blue Team and all the other teams were busy and or dead. So they could not. And I could be wrong. Wasn't Blue Team stuck in Onyx?
No.
Who was stuck in Onyx? The ghost of Onyx. Who was stuck in there? I swear.
Wasn't that black? I want to say.
Okay. Maybe it is. I swear I thought it was blue team was stuck in. Anyway, blue team was busy.
Blue team wasn't. Blue team was stuck on.
Wait, no. Fred, Linda. Wait, no. Fred, Linda, and Will. I thought. Okay, maybe I'm wrong. But
no.
Wait,
yeah, they're on Reach.
No, but what?
Because what I remember, right, is I remember that the Chief finds them back on Reach in like an underground bunker, right? And
No, they went to Blue Team. Blue Team fought alongside Team Saber against Onyx Sentinels in the Shinkili fleet. Upon landing Onyx, the rest. They are in. I'm like, I remember from the book about being like that. That's where they were at. Again, you're right. They were with other people, but
how did they get? I'm trying to remember.
Essentially, it's the way to keep them outside of the whole Halo like stuff going on.
They put him in the sphere.
Yeah, exactly.
But
my point is, if a Spartan is there, a Spartan's going to trust another Spartan. They literally say they trust another Spartan. I guarantee you Master Chief would be like, hey, I need you to take this out. It's to help with the Forerunner stuff. He would say that to another Spartan.
Yeah.
In a few words, but he would say that.
Also, like, for instance, my favorite Halo book is Halo First Strike.
Yeah.
And it's them knocking out the massive invasion fleet that was going to hit Earth. Because they're setting a profit. So they were like, well, we got to be safe, it's Mercy, but I mean, we still gonna send a few hundred ships, and because they didn't know if it was like they didn't know Earth was the home planet, but regardless, it's with them knocking out. But he works with Blue Team, I'm 90% sure, and that you immediately get the camaraderie. You immediately understand, like, oh yeah, no, these guys have worked together a lot. They know what's up, like. I can't stress enough that I think that, him keeping secrets from them is just very stupid.
Yeah. Very stupid.
Especially, like, him being, like, the brainwash again. Like, it's really the aspects of the show that I dislike immensely.
Yeah, he gets more, again, he's getting more emotion, which makes him recall after a dog whimpers, which... Again, I already know where this is going. So he hears a dog whimper, and then he cuts back to his past, and he's burying something, and his dad is like, you have to do this, son. And it's like, guys.
It's the dog.
It's the dog.
Are we actually going to pretend that it's not the dog? Like, come on.
Yeah.
It's the dog.
If it's not the dog, then great. But, like, you couldn't.
It's the dog.
Like, you made it so obvious to the fact that it's a dog.
Watch it actually. They're gonna be like, actually, it wasn't the dog. It was actually the mother or something. And it's gonna be like, we don't need this. We don't need this.
But like, so essentially, and again, I can already see the plot. The plot line is gonna be, you have Soren and the Insurrectionist girl trying to retake Madrigal. The Covenant attacking Madrigal in the meantime. Meanwhile, you have Chief going to his homeworld to figure out what happened to his family. Which, again, it's like, we already know what happened. Halsey either A, got him killed, which, again, is weird. And I could be very wrong with this, but didn't all the children get replaced with clones?
Yep, that was the standard policy.
So
I guess this is different. Again, this is very strange in how they're taking parts of the canon, but not others.
If they do the clone thing, because again, we already seen an example of the clone, I'll give them credit. Because that would be better than them having to, like, execute the parents or something. And they actually replacing them with, like, a clone that's currently, like, deformed or currently having a disability. Or, like, slowly dying from, some treatment. Because, again, the clones didn't last very long.
That's where you can blame... That's where you can say UNSC be evil. Like, if you want to point to something, that is, like... That's, like, whoa.
Yeah. Which, again, if this show does that and doesn't just do, you killed my parents. If they do the kill the parents thing, I'd hate that. If they say, you replaced me with a clone and my parents had to suffer for years, at the very least, that idea of somebody going through that
the
anguish, it's like, just have me dead. Like, it's like, well, we couldn't have you just disappear. We had to replace you.
Yeah, we put you with the clone. The thing is, though, that apparently a virus hits this hit Chief's world. So
sure.
Is he well? Yeah, I know, sure, but like, all I'm stressing is like, if it actually is what they say it is, and it's not.
Yeah. That's why I'm like, I don't think it's a clone.
Yeah.
And also,
I honestly believe that it's actually going to be a virus. They're actually being straight there, but it's not going to be. Yeah, it's just going to be the dog. I think that's going to be, guys. They're in the writers' room, guys. They're never going to see it coming. It's going to be the dog, and.
Again, I liked. There's a lot more in this I liked than even episode 1, 2, because this one felt at least straightforward with what it wants to do, and the three plot lines we have going, at the very least, the one I dislike the most because it doesn't feel like it's important in the grand scheme of things at all, was the least, which is fine. But the problem is, I have a feeling that's going to be the bigger part next episode, and I'm just like, oh no, this is already a good.
My biggest point is, like, why do I care in the slightest about Madrigal? Like, as a Halo fan, I know it doesn't matter. So why do I care? It's supposed to be glassed. So why do I care about her trying to get her planet? It's gonna burn. Like, we already know this. So if we already know the planet's gonna burn, and that's her whole point of going back, right? Then we know not to care about her motivation because it's going to die. You know what I mean? Like, there's no reason for us to focus on it because it doesn't matter to us, the audience, because we already know not to care.
And again, it's like, oh, but you don't care about her getting revenge? Revenge about what? She probably would have more, like, again, more vitriol toward the Covenant for literally picking up her dad and holding him up in the air with a sword through his, like, heart, rather than the guy that, while a dick and is murdering people, at the very least is bringing a somewhat normalcy and has UNSC protection over a planet that the UNSC cares about. If there was fighting, then the Covenant it would be easier for them to walk in, especially when the rebels are so poor. Like, it's, and again, I know some people might say, well, they have guns. It's like, no, you don't understand. This would be like someone having a musket compared to somebody with like a 2020 automatic weapon, and you're saying those are they're completely separate, and and space travel and everything.
Keep in mind also, think about this from the planet's point of view, right? If they knew, one would assume that if news leaked that the Covenant was on the planet, there would be millions and millions of people trying to get off world. They would not want to stay there because. Again, there are a few exceptions. Arcadia was the breadbasket, if I'm not mistaken, of a lot of inner colonies, and the Covenant just kind of blacked on glassing that one until like the late 2040s, early 2050s, I want to say.
They delayed it as much as possible until like, fine, we'll go back into...
Yeah, there's
nothing there.
Right? There's exceptions to when planets burn, but they always burn the moment the Covenant find out. And that's my thing is, like, they should know. She should know. Or maybe they don't burn. Again, we don't know why the humanity is losing this war. We don't know. We haven't seen the Master Chief be the best soldier he can be of like the 150 Spartans. We haven't seen Marines really fight. So we, as an audience, are lacking so much information that this show wants us to know, or like expects us to know.
Yeah.
But we don't, because even though you tell us these things, either A, I don't care, or B, it's not shown. I'm kind of bringing this up. I'm going back in a row.
No, you have a fair point. It's like, we know all this because, again, we're Halo fans. But the thing about it is, to a new person watching this, like, do you care is the question about this girl's journey. Because at this point, you're like, why does she want revenge or take over this planet? If the aliens are coming in, like, can she fight them? Because they're going, like, we know that the girl is taking the Covenant Corvette to that planet. Well, a Corvette isn't known for glassing. I'm sure the Covenant would be like a phone call away if there was any.
I mean, we'll have to wait and see. But the other thing I'll have to say is, I am interested to know about Chief's storyline because it's
Yeah.
right now it's average, right? It is average compared to everything else, which is like Cortana. I actually like Cortana's
Yeah,
character.
we have not actually mentioned Cortana that much. She is. I thought, people are going to complain about how she looks, and that's fine. I get
fine.
there's.
She looks good.
Yeah, I thought she looks fine, and I thought the Jen Taylor who plays Cortana did a good job with her in the show. My concern is, and I like actually her being like, "Hey, I'm supposed to do more. What's happening here? I'm supposed to be a sidekick. I'm not a sidekick. I'm like way more advanced than any of you." So, I like that aspect. She still has Halsey sort of like, not manipulation, but her like ego in her, and I like that.
Yeah, I mean, Jen Taylor's played Cortana for like the past decade. She's running around everyone with the bear, with the stuff she has because, think about her role, right? Like she's done that role for a decade, so
More, but yeah,
like her character seems interesting.
yeah.
I can't say that about even the Master Chief is bare bones, and I don't care that
He's
much.
okay.
But
He's
she,
okay.
I actually, like, maybe Halsey. Halsey's actually pretty, I'd say Halsey's pretty good. It goes like Cortana, Halsey, there's a bit of a gap, then there's Chief, then there's a bit of a gap, and there's everyone else. And
Yeah.
when your characters are that lacking, and I don't care because, as a Halo fan, I know certain things, the only interesting part is what are they doing different, and that's Chief and some of the lore, but they stick some things, they pick some things, they don't do others.
Real quick. So, in Halo 5, there's a map called Daybreak. Do you remember it? Where it's like, okay. So anyway, there's a Halo 5 map. It has like a UNSC ship in the background that's just kind of hovering. I know that's a lot of ships. But that is the initial planet we see, the garbage planet, apparently. Which, again, doesn't look like it. But that it's like apparently a planet they discover after the Covenant War. So the writers here are just cherry-picking planets. Like the ship in this show is really well designed. It's cool. I like it. But again, it's like, are you just literally picking a planet's name and just using it for whatever the fuck you want? Like, okay.
I just looked it up, and yeah, that does not look like a garbage planet, and in the slightest. This is, again, the more I look at this, it feels like there's maybe like one or two people that really like the lore, mention maybe like the Cole Protocol or something, like scenes like that, and then there's like everyone else that just is like Google Wiki Halo, and that's all they really need to know. Yeah. And honestly, again, I wouldn't watch this show if we weren't doing the reviews for it.
Yeah.
And the reviews are, and right now I would say this is probably a 5 on the back of a Cortana. Like, she really brings this up. And like, the CGI isn't bad. The priestess part, Maki, again, interesting. Okay, I forgot about her. Interesting. Why all the prophets go to her room and speak to her? They would never do that. Again, this show is very stupid.
It's weird how the prophets in the games. Stupid, but it's weird how the prophets. Smart. It's weird how the prophets in the games are like. I know they're old, right? They get that persona, but they still command respect, right? In this show, I don't like. I assume if I'm watching this, right, and I see a prophet, I assume that they're like the old wise covenant leaders, like
grandpas. They're all Grandpa Prophet Mercy and Grandpa Prophet Truth.
They're the what's it called? They're like my best guess would be they're sort of a trying to think of the name here. No, Merlin, like a Merlin. Like what's the terminology for someone that like talks to a king or something, that like gives them information? And like advisor. I would assume they're advisors of the Covenant, because they don't seem all that like leader-like, at least to me. Because they seem like very like soft-spoken and very like, okay, we don't want you to go, but that's fine, you can go. Like, they're not that, like, even Mercy, and Mercy was the sound of the oldest of the three, was still yelling at the top of his lungs at other Covenant and telling them and barking orders. So I don't know. I just don't know.
I would say that the biggest problem with the show is its lack of fundamental storytelling and setting up your world. It's doing a lot. It's trying to be a drama in a world that is still not crafted. Therefore, when characters want or care about the world or are trying to do things to change the world, as the audience that we still don't have a grasp of what it looks like, right? Then how are we supposed to get invested in these characters who are trying to change the world if we don't have a solid like footing? And this is just, even I'm a Halo guy and I still don't know what's going on. Yeah. And that's a problem. When the audience that should know the most still doesn't understand, then you have a problem. And I still feel like this is worth a third of the way through. Maybe we'll get more clarification. I doubt it. But right now, I say that whoever's writing this does not have a fundamental understanding of how to set up a world. They're trying to do characters, and at the end of the day, it's just a below average show because of it. I'm changing it to a 4. It's a 4. I'm going with a 4.
I give this episode a 5. This is my favorite episode. I think, because even though like probably 7 is not 7. Episode 1 is probably a better technically because of the first fight. What I like about this episode is it actually had the most intriguing stuff happen for me as of watching. I'm like, oh, okay, there's like a lot of cool little things. So it actually held my interest. I actually left this episode rather positive. All this
you changed me back. I'll go to an average.
Yeah. But again, it's like this is with Halsey and Cortana. That's what's bringing it up to a 5. That's not a good sign. Because I guarantee next episode, we're going to get more of the other storylines. Like, have they mentioned the other Spartans in any meaningful capacity? Have they mentioned Keys, any of them, in any meaningful capacity? Or, like, I don't understand why a lot of people are in this show. It feels like too many characters in this show for what they're trying to do. But anyway,
you don't know the stakes. I wish there was a perspective of like a planet under siege from the Covenant. Yeah. Like you see people getting glassed. You understand, like you watch a city just get a laser come through and wipe everything out. You just have a small outpost depending on top of a Forerunner relic maybe, and they don't know why the Covenant is glassing them, but they're just trying to hold out. They're like it's a desperate like starvation, and the Covenant are just killing as many as they can. Like you need a scene to set up why humanity is in the position it's in.
That is why it's so important, like Game of Thrones, where they do the intro and you have the map that goes where everyone is and kind of shows the city. Because then you have a basic idea of this world. You're reinforced every episode what this world looks like, what this world is. The intro of this is fine, and it's building on Master Chief, great, but it does nothing to help the world. You're trying to build characters in a world where I do not understand, and that is the problem. But anyway, maybe they'll fix it next week. Who knows? Thank you, 151, for tuning on in and helping me out with this review again.
Yeah, next time I will try to do more research, especially on the name of the hunters. God.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Look, Golos. Again, my apologies in that regard. But, again, thank you all so much for watching. If you have comments, leave it down below, and I'll try to go over them. But this has been Greyshot117.
And Greyshot151.
And we'll see you all next time.
Until episode 4, everyone. Until episode 4.
Hello everyone, before y'all go, you can check out more content above, you can subscribe, and you can hear as I talk about some amazing people who support me on Patreon, which include Folkvard, Aphyria, Joey G240, Milam, Ace, ShinobiWarrior, Pyroshark, ShinobiToolx, Epic Pleb. Thank you all for your incredible support. You literally help this channel keep on growing, so thank you. If you want to support the channel, again, check out some of the stuff I mentioned. Otherwise, I'll see all of you next time.